All right, Patriots, looks like I found some network today. It's all cloudy out, and sometimes that does some bad things with the network. But I found a spot. This has got to be the tiniest park in Lancaster right here. It's called Triangle Park. And it's a little spot where I guess the neighbors put flowers and planters and stuff. It's really nice here. Let me just show you around. Got our typical Lancaster County beautiful homes all over the place here. And we got like little flowers. There's a really, and actually is buried in a famous president. But it's a loud place, so I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to hear me. There's a lot of traffic noise around here. And it's a beautiful Mother's Day. So shout out to all you mothers. The fantastic jobs all mothers have done for our Patriot community. I don't know that there is any job more important in the world, in history, than mothers. And somehow or another, this psyop that we're all living in has led us to believe that nobody should want to be a stay-at-home mom. But I think it is the most important job in the world ever to have great mothers that are instilling morals and integrity and civility and everything in the children that they raise. And I'm so thankful for my mother. She was the most kindest person I've ever known, you know, and that she, almost to a fault, but you can't fault somebody for being too kind, can you? And it was an incredible blessing. I thank God for the mother that He gave me, and the father that He gave me too. It was an incredible parents that I was gifted with, man. So it's great to see all you Patriots in here. I hope you're all having a happy Mother's Day, and God bless all our Patriot mothers, man. They're a job well done. And God bless all the young mothers out there right now doing their best to raise their children in this diabolical psyop of a world that is around us right now. And that is an understatement. The amount of fake information that is out is mind-boggling and mind-numbing. And it's hard to tell which way is up, what's a real story, who's reporting truth. And I'm going to try to sift through the last 2 weeks here in a nutshell and try to figure out what are the important stories and what are the irrelevant, just noise and static that is constantly thrown at us. Right on, Barbara. Happy Mother's Day to all the ladies and the single dads too, right? They're doing a great job. It'd be great to see our family sticking together, though. The family in America is definitely under attack and has been for quite some time, man. That's right, Jay Jones. Nothing is meaner than a mama bear. But I never saw that angle of my mom, even though I know it was there. She fought for us every time something happened, and I'm so blessed. Carol, thank you for being here, Carol. You mods are so important, especially now with taking out the riffraff. Glory B was just having a troll. I was chatting with Glory B in the chat there, and she was saying how, you know, up before she drove past Freedom Corner and the memories started flooding back, and she was saying how, you know, she had never even entered a live stream chat before Freedom Corner happened. And same as here. I had no idea what being in a chat was, or what a troll was, or who are these people that think they're like Columbo that stalked us the whole time we were down there. And it's amazing. They still do it. They still follow us around. They have no life whatsoever, apparently. And they're desperate right now. They're trying some tricks with my buddy Sean's channel that's just pretty unbelievable right now. Sean started a new channel just to try to get away from the political world for a little while and just have some fun with car shows and live band concerts and stuff. And the trolls are in there now too, and it's amazing. They're just in there like saying fake things and making things up, trying to act like human beings, and it's a miserable failure. Miserable failure. By the way, check out this building over here. Over here. This is a really cool old building here. And this is what I love about Lancaster, man, is we got all these old warehouses and housing that's been built here, industry, all over the place in this area. We're so blessed in this area to have all this industry here. And then when they have an old building like this one behind me here, they'll convert it into something that's usable now in the modern era, you know, but keep the facade up, you know, the old time facade, and they'll restore these buildings. And it's just a really cool place to live. That when I travel around the country, I mean, some areas are just grim in what has been done to them. The attack on all the mom and pop stores, you know. I've been to towns that they don't even have a grocery store anymore, but they got a dollar store, a like brown box with an awning roof over it. I mean, it's just it's just terrible what this world has done to the small business in America. But I think we're getting back to it now. Trump has made some statements about the Small Business Association. We got a great person in charge of the Small Business Association right now. We got a great cabinet involved right now. But to this day, President Trump is still awaiting the appointments of people in his cabinet. And right now, one of the really important ones that our Republican Senate and House has not confirmed yet is Sean's nominee, Sean Planky, for the cyber, he's in the cyber crime unit. Okay, so right now we have all this cyber crime going on, and Trump doesn't even have a guy. His nominee has not been certified yet and put into place. That's the head of CISA, C-I-C-A. I don't even know what that stands for, but that's the guy who's supposed to be clamping down on cybercrime in our country. So how is the guy that we elected to be the president supposed to do anything when it's been a year and a half and his nominee for the head of CISA has not even been nominated, has not even been confirmed yet by the Senate? And I think this is just atrocious, and I think it's showing, and I do believe it is starting to have some effect now. I encourage you all to get involved with your primaries right now, because the primaries in the Republican Party right now are extremely important. And we're having some pretty good victories around the nation right now with the primaries. Jay Jones, you got the Ken Paxton, John Cornyn fight going on right now. These are two Republicans going head to head in a primary. Cornyn is the incumbent, and Paxton wants that Senate seat right now. Cornyn is a blatant rhino, big buddy of John Thune, who refused to pass the SAVE Act to this day. To this day. Months ago, I've been saying, they're not going to pass that SAVE Act. They're not going to pass that SAVE Act. And we're going to have to, the Trump team is going to have to try something else to get that SAVE Act passed, because the elections have been stolen. They've been, many elections have been stolen. 2020 is not the only one. Look at what just happened in Virginia, where the Democrats just did a clean sweep. As soon as they get into office, they are raising taxes all over the state and inventing new regulations and fees for all the people of Virginia to follow. And they lie right to the people's faces. They supposedly get elected, but then they just totally go back on all the promises, man. Yeah, Susie Wiles had an interview. That's a good one to watch. I have not seen that one yet, but she says that 2020 was a rigged election for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is saying that. I'm saying that. And we've been saying that since November 2020. It was obvious the day after that election that there was hijinks going on in that election. Overnight, the counting stuff. I mean, so much fraud happened in that election that it's just hard to imagine that the whole country doesn't see it and wants something to be done about it. We do want something to be done about it, but their democracy up on Capitol Hill is not allowing it to happen. And that's a whole nother word game, man. Right on. Save America Act. Vote out everyone who's stalled and doesn't want fair elections. Absolutely, Glory be. Great stream, Glory be, by the way. That was enjoyable. I really watched you driving around DC and showing us all the cool stuff there. And God bless you for what you do, because you're still heading into that swamp all the time, man. So the Congress, think about it this way. We have a constitutional republic out here, okay, with we the people. And then we elect people to go represent us inside the Capitol, right? We have a House of Representatives. We have a Senate. And all that operates on democracy, okay? There's 535 members of that. And they operate on a democracy principle in there. They all vote, they all get one vote, and the majority wins. And so when they're talking about our democracy, they're not lying. And they're not talking about our democracy out here, we the people. They're talking about their little democracy that they all get elected into, and it's a club. And once you're in it, if you don't toe the line, they find dirt on you, they bribe you, they blackmail you. And I think like 98% of the people that we elect to go in there and represent us in their democracy up on Capitol Hill there is corrupted somehow. And it's pretty obvious, man. Julian Assange, with the WikiLeaks from, decades ago, 15, 20 years ago, that all started. He's shown us so many things. Edward Snowden before him, he's shown us all kinds of things. And it just keeps happening over and over, but nothing ever gets done about it. So the time is now, Patriots. Freedom Corner, J6 woke us all up, man. Got us, this crew out there. Got us channels, got us learn the ropes on how to survive, how to not get thrown in jail, and all that, and still try to present this information. We don't have tattoos all over our bodies. We don't have like $150 makeup jobs before we get on camera and tell you what's going on. We don't have fingernails that look beautiful and stuff. We're not the beautiful people. We're the real people out there, trying to filter through what's going on in this world right now, and trying to plug people into the battles that matter, the ones that the Lord is going to lead us to, the ones that really are relevant and consequential, man. Right on, man. All right, Deb Vi, hello. Did I see D. McLean? All right, D. McLean, you were in there with Glory Be and me. That was great. Hi, Jerry Robertson. I'm glad you found the stream here. I finally found a spot here. And what's up, Jerry? The MAGA Warriors flag wave yesterday was awesome. Those guys have so much fun out there waving flags and stuff. And I can't wait till the next time I get out there to join them. In the meantime, next weekend is the National Call to Prayer. And I think if there is one event that is worth participating in that has ever occurred since the Freedom Corner vigils, it is this National Day of Prayer, where our president has made a proclamation that he wants this country to be rededicated to God on a day of repentance, a day of prayer, a day of worship to the one God, our Savior, Jesus Christ. And he wants everybody to come to D.C. and to do it there. You know, I mean, we could do this everywhere else. If you can't make it to D.C., try to make some type of an event out of it in your hometown or somewhere. Go out and do a public prayer or something. But make it be known that we want God to lead this country. The May 17th date is a date that was originally set, I don't know, back in the 1700s. I think George Washington was the one that called for a National Day of Prayer in the origins of this country. And other presidents have called for this, but nothing like this important, I think. And we've had now 2 months to get ready for this. I'm hearing that Saturday is going to have some worship music at the mall. There were a couple events like that during the Freedom Corner vigils that were awesome. I mean, they set up this huge stage on the mall. They get these famous guys, famous singers and stuff to come in and sing beautiful songs. And that's on Saturday. And then the official day of prayer starts at 6 a.m. on Sunday. So Glory B just told me that it was 6 a.m. and that's going to be a tough one to make, man. It's going to be a tough one to make. All right, yeah, and Branson's coming up in November. Derek, that's a good chance of me making that. I'm getting real busy here with friends that want me to work on some projects for them, and it looks like my summer's filling up. But what I'm going to do is just put my shoulder to the wheel and get some work done, get a stockpile, get a war chest going with some bucks to head out and try to do some more traveling again. Before this all happened, I used to travel all the time, but I threw everything I got into getting MJ6ers out of prison, and we won, and it was all worth it. But I'm down to like minimal existence at this point and slowly getting back on my feet. I finally got a new van, and I would love to be down in Colorado on the 25th, the weekend of the 25th. There is going to be a rally for Tina Peters, which is really important. So if any of you Patriots are out in the what is it? I forget what city in Colorado that the jail that Tina Peters is still in now for 550 days or whatever. But if you're out in that area, there's an event coming up where Mama Mickey and Nicole Reffitt and Tammy Jackson's all rallying the troops to get out there and have a multiple day rally for Tina Peters on Memorial Day weekend. So if you can't, Pueblo, thank you, Glory B. Pueblo, Colorado is the prison that she is in right now. Colorado is literally cutting their nose off to spite their face right now because Trump made many proclamations about the injustice of Tina Peters being a whistleblower and being in prison for calling out fraud in the election machines specifically. She pinpointed where the fraud was. She pinpointed that they were changing the programming in these election machines. And she's a whistleblower, and the state of Colorado went gangbusters after her. The judge in Tina Peters' case is one of the most despicable beings on the planet I have never seen, man. His verbal scolding of Tina at her sentencing was, it was satanic. It was satanic, man. When you want to pray for your enemies, I mean, here's a guy that I can't even bring myself to think any good thoughts about the judge in Tina Peters' case. Stormtrooper, 1791 Stormtrooper, looks like he's going to make it out to that, man. Yeah. All right, Dave, good. Chat, thank you. Soup Mama has the flyer for Tina. Go to Soup Mama's channel. And 1791 Stormtrooper's got a flyer out on his channel. I did hear that Sapphire Patriot might be heading out there. And if by some stroke of God willing, he wants me to be out there, I'm able to go out there, technically, because I can set my own schedule and stuff. But man, that's a 28-hour road trip or something for me, man. And once I get out in Colorado, I'm not going to want to come home for a while. So I doubt I'll be there. I will be there in spirit, though, on all the channels that will be live streaming that. And there's a lot of work to be done that way, too, with the moderation and stuff on all their channels, man. All right, Glory B says y'all can grab a flyer off of her channels, too. That's right, man. Tina was just doing her job. She was a red and white and blue-blooded patriot, just pointing out, like, hey, your election's getting screwed here, Colorado. And I can't believe Colorado hasn't stood up yet for Tina Peters, man. I know there's good patriots in Colorado, but when you're faced with the demonic evil that does something like what they did to Tina Peters, man, you gotta stand up. You can't just ignore it and go to the football game. You got to stand up against these people. And once you got them under your boot, you can't take your foot off their throats. That's the way they are. They need to be put down, man. They're like a rabid dog that, you know, there is nothing good that's going to come out of these people. And I hope the state of Colorado does something that stands up in a big way for Tina Peters, man. That would just be the best thing ever at this point. She's been in prison for over 550 days. I don't know what the count is right now, but she's just a beautiful human being, a great grandmother, struggling with cancer, and you know about getting good medical treatment in prison. She's a Gold Star mother. One of her sons died in the military, and this is just one of the most atrocious satanic things you can do to anybody, man. She is strong in her faith, that's for sure. That is for sure. And an inspiration, okay? Just as all the J6ers were inspirations, even though in how they dealt with the circumstances that they were in, you know? And some of them guys were in there for almost 4 years. And on an unjust prosecution, a legal warfare prosecution. And it's everything the FJB administration dumped into that prosecution. That was their main push. That was the biggest prosecution in American history ever. And they were going after like grandmas that went into the Capitol to pray for our country because we all saw a rigged election that had just happened. And we were urging Congress to not certify that election, you know. And so many battles have happened since then with that election. The Brunson brothers brought their case all the way up to the Supreme Court. I thought there for a while we were going to have a major victory, but then the Supreme Court folded on making a determination on the Brunson versus Adams case, which would have removed everyone that voted in Congress for that rigged election. They did not take the precautions that we grant them to analyze and determine if that was a legitimate election. And it obviously wasn't. And they obviously covered it up. Like 425 members of our Congress voted to certify that election. So not all of them voted for it. Some of them voted to not certify that election and said, we want to have a 10-day examination of the facts surrounding the 2020 election, but 430 or 425 of them or so didn't. And they just wanted to sweep it under the rug, go on with business as normal, because it would have exposed them. But many of them have been exposed up until now, okay? And they're continuing to get exposed. We're having victories all over the place. One victory that we have just had in the primary elections here. This is why primaries are so important. In the state of Indiana, there's this gerrymandering thing that's been going on for the last year in a bunch of the states. And the Republican majority government in Indiana decided to not fight against a new gerrymandering map that they were coming up with for the state of Indiana, which was insane, because it was being gerrymandered in favor of the Democrats, right? And in that group, there was, I think, 9 Republicans that voted to just let the gerrymandering happen, right? And that's have been voted out of the election through their primaries, okay? So that's a major victory for the conservatives of Indiana. Way to do it. Way to get out there, make your voices heard, and doing all the legwork and finding out who's the good guy to vote for, who's the backstabber to get rid of, who's the rhino that needs to come down. And Indiana has had a major victory there. And there are other states that are having victories like that. The CIA ex-employee governor of Virginia is trying to do in Virginia. They're trying to gerrymander that state, and the Supreme Court shot it down. And what this determination from the Supreme Court is saying is that you can't gerrymander things according to skin color. It sounds like common sense, but what it also says is that this has been happening for decades. They've been giving minorities advantages in wow. They've been giving minorities advantages for getting representation in the government by splitting up areas according to skin color, okay? So that's been going on for decades. We've had Republican representation in this country. We've had a constitution in this country that says race is irrelevant, race is invisible, Lady Justice is blind. Yet this has been going on for decades in our country, and this is what we're finding out with the Trump administration. Part of the revealing of all the evil that's been going on in our government is just showing us what has been going on, where the Constitution has been ignored forever and ever. And we're finally being shown, man. And there's fights all over the country now going on. All right, I just saw something about Tim fighting. Yes, that was another good thing I wanted to talk about here. Judicial Watch has just gotten released the J6 body-worn cameras of the DC police, not the Capitol Police, because we've had those body cameras. But Tom Fighton has just gotten the release of the DC police body cameras, and one of those persons is, who's that scumbag, man? I can't even remember his name now. The guy who faked, going out into the crowd, and so his body camera, we've seen some of it now, but we're going to get all of it now. So that information is still coming out 5 years later. Fanone's camera is going to be now, we're going to see what he did all day long. And things are going to come out. And they fought this in court for 5 years because they wanted to blur out everybody's face. They told Judicial Watch that it was going to cost $1.5 million to blur out all the faces on the body cameras there, our public servants' faces. And they just lost that battle. How many millions of dollars and how many years did it take to get this ounce of justice out of just seeing the body-worn cameras of our public servants during that event, okay, for 5 years now, which is atrocious, man. Justice should be swift. There is no excuse for this justice to take that long, man. So there's that. These are major victories that are happening on a very quick schedule right now, man. And there's been victories in Louisiana. There's been victories in other states across with this gerrymandering thing. And I hope that this is hopefully the dawning of a golden era here for America, man. But we got to get back to the Constitution, man. There was another event. The White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, has left her job for a period of time to go have a baby, which is great, man. And I think she did have a baby. And it was born healthy. Everything's good with Caroline Leavitt. But while she was away, Marco Rubio stepped in, and he was the press secretary for an awesome press conference at the White House one day last week, maybe 2 weeks ago now. If you haven't seen that, it's an excellent thing, and it really shows you a side to Marco Rubio on how he gets along with people, man. He had these antagonist press correspondents laughing. I mean, he was cracking jokes, and they were laughing along with him and everything. But one of the comments that he answered to, one journalist asked him if the Congress was going to step in with the War Powers Act and limit what Trump can do over in Iran right now. And Rubio just came right out and said it. Hey, the War Powers Act, which is passed, is unconstitutional. So we've had this thing called the War Powers Act that has been supposedly the law of our country that everybody knows was unconstitutional. But it hasn't been challenged or gone through the courts for 5 years, all the way up to the Supreme Court, till we can finally figure out, yeah, that's unconstitutional. But multiple presidents in the past have had little skirmishes all over the world and, seemingly sidestepped this War Powers Act. Well, Rubio just said it's unconstitutional. So here's another instance where the ludicrous world that our representatives have created for us in Washington, is unconstitutional. We got actual acts that are not according to the Constitution. We have many of them. There's lots and lots and lots of them. The IRS, the Federal Reserve, Social Security is technically not constitutional, but they make special acts and laws. And I just think we got to get right back to the Constitution. That's what got us 250 years down the line and kept this country together, was that one document, the Constitution of the United States, man. All right, Carol says Carolyn Leavitt had a baby girl. That is so awesome, man. More babies. We want more babies, America. So just over and over, these things are happening that are showing the farce that this country has been operating under, and hopefully it's a step in the right direction, that we can get back on track as a powerful country according to our Constitution. Another good thing that was done was James Comey was arrested again. This was a while ago. But he didn't get the Roger Stone treatment or the Peter Navarro treatment when he got arrested. He didn't get a pre-dawn raid that, CNN was filming. James Comey was allowed to self-submit himself to over the 8647 seashell picture that he posted, okay? So it's illegal to threaten the life of the president. The 8647 was a threat to the president. And James Comey is one of the most prominent people that have posted a threat like that on the president's life. So I think it's very appropriate that they go after him and prosecute him for that. And I'm hearing that there are other charges that are being still talked about to press James Comey with. He's involved with what Tulsi Gabbard's unveiling with the Arctic frost investigation, and Barack Obama and James Brennan, Clapper, and Comey, how they lied to President Trump on his first intelligence briefings, and all that. I mean, it's a farce, man. It's going to take a while to just unpack all of this, probably more than the rest of President Trump's presidency. We're just going to be unpacking more of the information that's just now coming out through Tulsi Gabbard's, the DOJ. Todd Blanche at the DOJ is doing awesome work. And Harmeet Dillon, all the fraud that's being exposed by Harmeet Dillon in the election voter rolls in all the states. And with Vance going after the fraud, all the Medicaid fraud. So another cool thing that happened was FBI raided a Virginia state senator's office, Louise Lucas, who is a state representative, a state senator in Virginia, who owned a medical dispensary selling weed. And apparently she was also supposedly running some type of a medical Medicaid waiver services business out of one of these buildings that got millions of dollars from the government, but apparently had no actual customers. So the weight of the law is coming down on these fraudsters, and I think it's a great thing. It's a start. And the thing about these prosecutions is you get all this news until there's actually some criminal getting thrown in a jail cell with the slamming of the door. It takes so many different things to happen. You got to have the indictment, then you got to have the arrest, then you got to have the prosecution, then you got to have the trial, then you got to have the sentencing. I mean, so it's easy to get caught up on all this, and you hear about all these things, and then at the last minute the sentencing judge says, oh, you get probation for 6 years instead of 15-year felony sentence. I mean, that's how it operates. It's agonizing. It's how the system is set up. But I think that they've caused it to become kind of a joke. And I think we're going to get back on swift prosecutions. One of the swift prosecutions that could really happen right now is the guy that just came in and tried to shoot up Trump and his cabinet at the White House press correspondence dinner, okay? Here's this guy. He's on video. He's got guns in his hands. He's running through security. This guy is 100% guilty. There is no excuse for his behavior. He's not mentally deficient. His trial should be over at this point, in my opinion, okay? What can possibly be said about that this wasn't illegal? What could possibly be argued about with this guy's actions? I mean, he's obviously guilty of this crime. I think there should have been a trial already, and we should be waiting to hear how long this guy's going to go to jail or when his execution date is going to be. So I hope that happens. The the guy who murdered Irina Zarutska down in Charlotte, North Carolina. Same thing, man. He's on film. It's guilty, totally guilty. Yet his trial still has not happened, man. How many millions of dollars are we spending in all of the pomp and circumstance around these trials and stuff, man? Yeah, Carol Burton, right. I forgot about that. The White House Correspondents' Dinner guy went to his first hearing, and the judge, and he complained because he was getting bad treatment in the jail. You know, I don't know what they hurt his feelings or something, or his food was cold. And the judge actually apologized to the guy who tried to shoot people in the room with the president, you know. Another thing about that White House Correspondents' Dinner attack was the miraculous preservation of all them police officers' lives, man. I just came to the realization that the one guy started shooting at him before he got past him, and I don't know how that guy did not shoot any of his fellow law enforcement officers, man, because apparently he got off 5 shots as the guy was running past him. But I'll tell you what, I don't ever want to go out shooting with a guy like that, you know. So I don't know what I'm trying to say here with, you know, law enforcement. But my God, that guy just ran right past 10 people at a checkpoint, okay? 10 law enforcement people. He ran right past them. One of the law enforcement people started opening fire without checking what was behind the people. He didn't have to start shooting his gun. All he had to do was stick his leg out and trip the guy, okay? Really. But these people are so caught up in their power, the law enforcement. We got a law enforcement problem in this country, Patriots. He just whips his gun out and starts firing, okay? Would you want to go out shooting with a guy like that? He is so lucky. We are so lucky that other law enforcement people were not shot with friendly fire in that event, man. It is disturbing how chaotic and broken that security checkpoint was, man. Yeah, they got to go to the range or just learn some basic firearm safety things. The thing is, dude, Jay, is the guy was running right for him with a shotgun, and really, I would have just tried to tackle the guy. I wouldn't have had time to pull a gun out and start shooting at him. But if he had just